Okay, today we're with Jordan Fox. Jordan is a 2014 graduate of Sydney High School. Jordan played or got three letters for us for football. Senior year, he was first team GWalk North. Was a team captain, was named outstanding offensive player for our football team also. Had a big senior year. He's on our football record board for most pass attempts, most pass completions. You were also about 100 yards away from setting the passing yardage record also. And then your senior year also rushed for about 500 yards and accounted for about 26 touchdowns. And you also had about 40, 50 tackles on defense also. So Jordan, now that we got all the boring stuff out of the way, give us an update.
Yeah.
It's 2014 when you graduated. What's Jordan Fox been up to?
Absolutely. So yeah, 2014, after graduating, I did about a semester of college up at Bowling Green. I thought that maybe college was, the right choice for me immediately out of school, but turns out I needed a little bit more structure. That's something that football really gave to me back in high school, and having people who kind of help hold you accountable was definitely something I needed coming out of that time frame in my life. So I was like, I'm really interested in this military route. So I went and, came home for Christmas break in 2015. And that's when I decided, hey, this is the time to do it. So I went and signed up and enlisted in the United States Navy. Originally joined, and we go to boot camp up in Chicago. Was there for a few months there at the when did I first go? It was September of 2015 was when I first went to boot camp. And so I'm actually coming near the end of my enlistment now. But went up there to boot camp in 2015. After the words, I stayed up there for a brief period, did some military diving, did a little dive prep course up there, and then went down to Panama City, did some diving down there as well, and then actually did explosive ordnance disposal school for the United States Navy. That's also kind of close to Panama City. I don't know if you're familiar with like the Destin area of Florida, like Destin, Niceville. There's Eglin Air Force Base there. I did that course. That course is phenomenal. One of the most difficult courses in the military, in my opinion. But there afterwards, some things kind of switched up for me. So I had to find a new job in the military, and I came upon this military kind of medic corpsman route. And at first I was, a little bummed out, but after coming in and especially coming to the emergency department and getting to see, people when they're at their sickest, people when they need the most help. That was just something that I think that kind of has always kind of spoke to me and given me, a drive and urge to try and do everything I can to give everybody the best shot they got, especially in their greatest time of need.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of what has happened so far. I'm down here in Jacksonville, Florida now, working at a naval hospital here in the emergency department. So again, my job here is to when people first arrive, we kind of take care of them, is starting any IVs in them, giving them any shots, any medications, and hopefully to get them back out to get them on their way back home, or get them on the way to a higher level of care, whether it's to like an ICU or a different hospital, so that way they can get all the care they need.
And I take it you're at work right now?
I am. Yes. Yeah. I got here.
Shift?
Yeah. So I'm getting ready to start shift. It's I start shift at about 5:45 p.m. and then I go until about 6:15 in the morning.
Okay.
My current schedule is I work 3 12-hour shifts in a row, and then I'm off for 3, and then I work 2 12-hour shifts again, and then I'm off for 2. So it's a rotating schedule where I get every other weekend off.
Gotcha. And it's at a military hospital?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So anybody who's ever retired from the military, or any military family members, or obviously any active duty military members, have access to the base here. Also, there's a lot of contractors, so people who are hired on to they're not really affiliated with the military directly, but they're hired on as basically accessory workers to help out with, we got some hangars on the base here. They help with like the aircraft or any janitorial services. kind of anything with filler roles where they can get civilians to come in. They also have access to the hospital as well for emergency care.
Okay. How has that life or your work life changed in the last month to two?
Yeah, so a lot. Yeah, this whole COVID-19 coronavirus thing has really at least pushed our emergency room to the kind of to the brink, because we're a little low on bodies now. We're kind of deploying a lot of our members to we send a team a part of the U.S. Navy actually has a few hospital ships, so they have the Mercy and the Comfort.
Yep.
The Comfort, and both
They have
those
one
are
of
on
those
each
stationed in New
shore.
York.
So
Yeah. One's on each coast, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we have one I believe in San Diego, and then one's
Yep.
up in New York
New York.
currently, or at least it was. But we have a few members from our ER up there as well. We also have some people over in we just sent over to Dallas and some to New Orleans currently. So we're kind of all spread thin, but we're still kind of manning the load and working our shifts where we can and coming in for some extras when we're told.
What
Yeah.
you mentioned you're getting towards the end of your 5-year commitment. What's the plan? You got an idea of what you envision moving forward?
Yeah, actually. So I am coming up near the end. I actually separate from the military. I think it's like September 7th of this year. So a few more months along the way. I want to say a few months back, I started paramedic school down here. So that way my military training doesn't really transfer out too well to separating from the military. So that's kind of the most similar role to what I do now, to what I can do as a civilian. So I test here in just a couple of months for my national paramedic cert, and then I have plans to take my flight paramedic certification there shortly after. It's just more critical care stuff, and then hopefully plans to go back to school and everything. So maybe med school down the road somewhere, a few more years.
Jordan Fox, med school.
I use my head a lot for hitting people, but also I try to use it to help some people too.
So, what is football, or what did football mean to you?
Yeah, so football was obviously a really fun time for me. I got to experience a lot. I got to play a little bit of offense, play a little bit of defense, try to get in all as many special teams plays as I could. And
it
really taught you.
On occasion, your senior year, you kept trying to sneak in. You were already a full-time quarterback. We kept trying to take you out on defense, then you try to sneak on special teams also. Sorry.
It was. I had a real good. I had a FOMO experience, right? I just had a fear of missing out for every single play, and I felt like I had to help be a part of this. So even if I was just getting in the way, but football definitely taught me that team aspect. You learn that. You can make it a lot of places in life by yourself, but you're always going to be able to make it farther. You're always going to be able to do more and get more done when you're a part of a team. And in football, that kind of speaks that in numbers. Like you're there with 10 other players, whether you're playing offense or defense, and no matter what your individual job is, you want to do that to your very best of your ability, but you're working together as a team. You know that. If you give everything you got, that the guy to your left and to your right is doing the same thing. And that's something that, travels with you throughout the military. You're there left and right. You know that even when times suck, when things get hard, when things are tough and you don't want to keep going, it helps motivate you to keep going when the guy on your left is going through the same thing. The guy on your right is doing the same thing. It just helps you keep driving forward. And that's something that I learned definitely through football. I learned that through wrestling. I learned that just through doing sports in general there in Sydney. And those are lessons that you'll never forget.
Right.
They always go with you. And that's definitely helped push me to where I'm at and where I'm hoping to go.
So you went from going to college to military to diving to in the medical field. What kind of lessons have you learned from that? I mean, obviously there's no perfect script. There's no, I chuckled when you mentioned med school, just from in 2013, when I'm trying to get you to pass a certain class. I never in my wildest dreams would have heard you said that. But what kind of lessons, or what can you say to our current guys about things that you've learned from the last 5 or 6 years that you haven't already said?
Yeah. So looking back, there's always a hindsight's always 2020.
Mhm.
You're like, man, when I was in school, I had such an opportunity. It's like, man, this class may seem hard, or this homework seems stupid. I don't want to do it. There's better things I could be doing. I could be hanging out with friends. I could be
Right.
going out and getting food. Just when looking back, I wish I would have sat down, did the homework, studied when I should have, studied when I needed to, even if I thought the work was, I thought it came a little easier to me. So
Right.
I was like, man, maybe I don't have to do this. But definitely looking back, it's like, man, that would have been awesome if I would have did better through school. That would have helped allow you to focus more on sports that you're doing, or outside of being outside of school. It helps you focus on your career and moving forward in life, because you don't have that forward projection of, man, where am I going to be in a few years? It's
Right.
so hard to have that when you're in high school. And so it's hard to set yourself up for success. But if you're going to take lessons from adults, you're going to take lessons from those coaches, those teachers. They're not just speaking from nowhere. They're speaking from experience.
Right.
And I wish I would have taken those words a little heavier when I heard them back when I was in school, when I was a sophomore, junior, senior,
Right.
to really focus up and set myself up for success going forward.
Right.
Because there's no going back once you move on.
Yeah, but
But you can always.
I think you've done a great job of just being able to learn from those lessons and not use them as excuses. And obviously, there's no easy, perfect path on which way you're supposed to go. And now you're in the medical field, and that's something that you probably wouldn't be there without all those small lessons that you learned along
Absolutely.
the way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, I really appreciate it. I know you got to get heading to your shift here, and I don't want you to be late. Enjoy the next 12 hours. Stay healthy, stay safe. And when you're back in town, don't be a stranger. Make sure you look us up, man.
Absolutely. All right. You have a wonderful rest of your night.
Hey, thanks, Jordan. See ya.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.